The saying there are things sacred and things forbidden, for safety and for sanctity perhaps best captures our cautious attitude towards the concept of spirituality, an area still shrouded in mystery beyond human comprehension. Yet in horror films, it's common to see characters who dismiss these supernatural forces, acting nonchalant, challenging, mocking, or engaging in foolish behaviors. This has become a classic motif to kickstart a horror story that plunges the audience into a terrifying, hellish experience. These individuals might be motivated by money, views, fame, or simply curiosity, leading them into heavily cursed lands. Eventually, they regret their actions too late, finding no escape from their nightmarish predicaments. Today, to continue our list of horror stories, Movie Honey has decided to make a video introducing those daring people who trivialized spiritual matters and paid a heavy price, some with their lives. After watching, one is sure to deeply feel the truth of the phrase, "Do not take spirituality lightly." When young, one might make countless mistakes from which to learn and mature, but few errors are as foolish as deliberately dabbling with the spirit world. Talk to Me stands out as a notorious horror masterpiece from A24. The film follows Mia, a young woman grappling with psychological turmoil after her mother's death from a drug overdose. Her sudden loss plunges Mia into depression, with her only emotional support coming from her best friend Jade's family. One day, Mia decides to try a trending game on social media. The rules are simple. A group gathers, lights a candle to open the portal between the living and the dead, sits in front of a mysterious, plaster-wrapped arm, and says, "Talk to me," to commence the seance. They then say, "I let you in," to allow any chilling spirit to possess them. However, participants must blow out the candle by the 90th second, sealing the gateway, or the spirit will permanently take over their body. Talk to Me symbolizes the seemingly harmless pranks of youth that can take unimaginably dark turns, and the consequences of such folly are profoundly horrifying. The spectral world within the film is ever eager to possess the living, dragging them into a terrifying hell at any moment. Those who toy with evil forces are too naive to comprehend the dire repercussions of their impulsive actions. Talk to Me offers a harrowing experience that affects viewers both mentally and physically, more so than the typical jump scares. The film focuses on conveying a genuine sense of fear through meticulously crafted visuals and sound, making the narrative not only terrifying, but also deeply tragic as the characters pay a steep price. If it were merely an innocent prank due to ignorance that unintentionally unleashed dark spiritual forces, one might understand and sympathize. However, actively seeking out ghosts only to become victims is beyond saving. Grave Encounters is a reality TV show directed by Lance Preston. Following the success of the first 5 episodes, the team decided to go big by filming the 6th episode at the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, rumored to be haunted after being deserted for 50 years. According to Kenny, who once looked after the hospital, unethical experiments were conducted there on patients by Dr. Arthur Friedkin, which led to increasing supernatural phenomena. Cries, screams, and laughter are often heard in the night. Doors suddenly open or slam shut without any wind, and some have even seen eerie shadows lurking in the dark corners of the building. Ignoring the warnings, Lance Preston's team, determined to capture valuable footage, brought an array of equipment including walkie-talkies, night vision cameras, handheld audio recorders, and thermal radiation meters. To ensure authenticity, Lance's group decided to spend the night with Kenny locking the main door, the only exit. Yet their professionalism turned out to be a facade, a deception for the public. All the footage was scripted, and in reality, none of the film crew had experience with confronting supernatural forces. Initially, the team encountered only minor strange phenomena like footsteps running back and forth, doors slamming shut behind them, or objects moving on their own. However, when the clock struck 7 a.m. and it was still pitch dark outside, they all realized they were in real danger. In a desperate attempt to break down the main door, the group was shocked to find not an exit, but a long hospital corridor extending before them. All the emergency exits led to dead ends, and the food they had brought was severely spoiled. Some members became uncontrollably angry, while the rest quickly fell into despair, and their worst nightmare was just beginning. Grave Encounters chills its viewers with its eerily authentic found footage style. If you're looking for a horror film powerful enough to shake your courage, Grave Encounters is undoubtedly a choice you cannot ignore. Following characters who underestimate spiritual matters, the man in the 2022 film Deadstream is not much wiser than the crew in Grave Encounters. We meet Sean Ruddy, a streamer known for his daring online stunts. Unfortunately, his controversial content led to a significant loss of followers. To retain his sponsors and viewers, Sean decided to livestream spending a night in the infamous haunted house known as Death Manor, a decision that one can tell is extremely foolish without even watching the film. Thus, throwing his car keys and spark plug into the woods, Sean charged headfirst into danger. Initially, there seemed to be nothing to worry about as he comfortably joked around, created content, and even boldly provoked the spirits rumored to dwell in the mansion. Nothing unusual happened, except for an encounter with an overzealous fan named Chrissy. Reluctantly letting her tag along to please his fan, Sean was startled to realize that it was impossible for her to just randomly appear inside the locked house. She must have been waiting inside, or perhaps there was no girl at all. Chilling, isn't it? From that point, Sean was drawn deeper into the deadly grounds, completely controlled by the forces within the house. One crazy event after another unfolded, and the outcome, as you might guess, didn't need further explanation. It was reckless to risk his life just for views and fame. Whenever Hereditary is mentioned, one cannot help but feel terrified by the intricate and chilling plan of the cult led by Ellen Lee, executed upon her own family. By sacrificing her grandson, Ellen and her disciples aim to summon King Payman, one of Solomon's 72 demons, who grants wealth, fame, and talents to his worshippers. Ellen's daughter, Annie, is not unaware of the eerie presence of these suspicious characters. However, her somewhat indifferent attitude, shared by her husband Steve, creates a major vulnerability that allows evil to infiltrate their family. Once it does, Annie finds it impossible to deny its presence. Strange lights, the frightening clicking sounds made by their daughter Charlie, and a series of unfortunate events all terrifyingly demonstrate the spiritual forces lurking in the shadows. Hereditary serves as a reminder that spiritual matters are not to be taken lightly, and it also teaches a lesson on how divisions within a family can make it weak and susceptible to exploitation. Beyond its horror elements, the film conveys a powerful and timely message about family dynamics. It suggests that if family members trust and empathize with each other and cease their quarrels and torments, perhaps there would be no darkness for evil to exploit. Director Ari Aster has undoubtedly created a masterpiece, a cult that emerges and capitalizes on the weakest parts of the human psyche. People usually hesitate to enter a hotel room where someone has died, let alone one where 56 people have perished. Yet, Mike Enslin, the protagonist of 1408, insists on renting this very room despite the hotel manager's warnings. Mike is an author who writes about supernatural phenomena, though he has never believed in them. One day, he comes across a postcard mentioning the Dolphin Hotel in New York with a warning, "Do not enter room 1408." Viewing this as a new challenge, he arrives at the Dolphin to book the room. The manager tries in vain to persuade him to choose another room, but eventually, he must let Mike stay in the haunted room. Regrettably, room 1408 is precisely the type of room you can enter but might never leave. At 8:07, a clock automatically begins a 60-minute countdown. The window shuts, the room key breaks, and the door handle falls off. Mike now sees ghosts, and it's too late to escape. He tries to contact the outside world for help, but some unseen force interferes with the communication. Mike hallucinates, imagining a reunion with his deceased wife and daughter. In his happiest moment, everything collapses around him, and he finds himself back in room 1408. The ghosts present Mike with two choices: relive his experiences, or let them set him free. After hours of struggle, Mike ultimately decides to set fire to the room to avoid involving his wife in his fate. If he could turn back time to before entering room 1408, he would certainly thank the manager and run as far away as possible. Leaving America, let's travel to Japan, a country known for producing some of the scariest horror films in the world. The film revolves around Masafumi Kobayashi, a journalist who investigates supernatural phenomena to create documentaries. After completing a film titled The Curse, Kobayashi mysteriously disappears, and his house is burnt down. Tragically, his wife's body is found among the ashes. The story begins about a year and a half earlier, when Kobayashi starts investigating a woman named Junko Ishii and her son. Neighbors report hearing the cries of a baby and strange noises coming from the Ishii house at night. However, just days after an unsuccessful interview, Ishii and her son disappear, and the neighbor who reported them dies in a mysterious car accident. This is followed by clips from a variety show featuring a girl named Kanayano, who possesses psychic abilities like clairvoyance and creating water from thin air, along with a show exploring paranormal phenomena featuring a girl with the sixth sense, Marika Matsumoto. During an exploration of an ancient shrine, Marika behaves strangely, hearing someone call her name, then falling to the ground, writhing and screaming in pain. Reviewing the footage, everyone is chilled to the bone as the camera captured a white figure silently observing the group from the darkness. Complications escalate when Mitsuo Hori, a psychic, unexpectedly attacks Marika on live television. During his investigation, reporter Kobayashi discovers that 3 people, 3 locations, and 3 events, seemingly unrelated, form the basis for a terrible conspiracy linked to Junko Ishii and her son. Noroi, the curse is a stark reminder that some things in this world do not need to be explored in great detail. Catering to the audience's fascination and satisfying their curiosity, producers continually create bizarre spiritual shows, paving the way for evil forces to easily reach humans, ultimately leading to inevitable tragedy. And that completes the list of films I wanted to introduce to you. Surely, after watching them, no one would dare to toy with spiritual forces anymore. Let's just curb our curiosity and enjoy the ghosts on the screen. As for those eerie places, perhaps it's best to leave them be, because who knows? If we boldly challenge them, we might end up with a tragic fate like those daring characters.